people not just wanted a lifespan extension, they also wanted a health span extension. And now we are trying to help people recognize what are the points and junctures in their experience of life's journey where your system might feel a jolt, and all the things that worked before will stop working, and you may be entering into that period of pause.
So, Dr. Dinh, I just want to thank you for coming on my show. Real excited to talk about, skincare, how it pertains to longevity, all the things my over 40 audience is doing wrong. Maybe, we talked about before we hit record, stuff that worked in our 20s and 30s may not be working, as we hit menopause, andropause, and just like what I do with my clients and personal training, same thing. The same nutrition doesn't work, the same fitness philosophies don't work. So really want to dive into what you got. But as my audience always knows, when we get a new guest, we'd like to kind of get to know you a little bit. How'd you get into what you were doing, and also with your company Giovanni? And then we'll dive into some of the good stuff, and I'll try to ask some good questions. So I'll let you take it away.
Hi, Brad. Thanks so much for having me. And this is so good to hear that you are talking about something that is very, very important to my career, which is fitness and management of health and wellness in your 40s and onward. It's one of my missions in life also is to introduce these concepts to the young people before they start experiencing pauses. So what I do is that I help people manage first, I recognize their pause and then also learn how to manage it. So so I used to be a geriatrician. So I know you asked me questions in series. So I am a geriatrician. I'm a retired geriatrician,
Mm-hmm.
which is like I used to take care of old people. And I'm board certified in family medicine. Before I became a geriatrician, I was family medicine. However, I realized that there were two strains of medical systems in the United States. And one was just basically sickness management and basically taking care of things once a disorder had occurred. So that is usually your insurance related management of health, where once your health insurance, I tell all my patients, is like your car insurance. It only gets triggered once you develop a disease or a disorder, and that even then you have to pay a deductible towards whatever is your plan.
Mm-hmm.
That's planning your management of diseases. However, there is also simultaneously a new field of medicine was being created and curated over the past 2 decades, which is like management of health and wellness, because we managed to increase the lifespan beyond a certain point in this century. What also we saw noted is that people not just wanted a lifespan extension, they also wanted a health span extension. And now we are trying to help people recognize what are the points and junctures in their experience of life's journey where your system might feel a jolt, and all the things that worked before will stop working, and you may be entering into that period of pause. And that pause is a physiological pause. It is a pause that is predetermined in your DNA, because your life is nothing but a genetic code that you inherited from both your parents. So you inherit not just the qualities of your parents, but also their troubles. So it comes together, and also it can manifest throughout your experience in different ways, because some days you may be manifesting certain things, problems of your dad, and then on other days you'll be like, oh my god, my uncle or my great grand from my mom's side had this thing, and oh shit, it's coming in front of me now. So every human experience is so uniquely different, that it takes a lot of insight, and it takes like, I feel that every human now will, one of the things that I'm very grateful for this year and the year in 2025 was that there is, for the first time, everybody will have access to a concierge, which is going to be your own AI, which will help you identify your pauses and figure out what can you do about them when you give it the symptoms, because they're not we don't have enough doctors
Yeah.
at this point, who will guide every person in person and will sit with you and go over your detail. So I think that doctors have, for the first time, we have this opportunity of helping at scale people in a way which was never possible before, because previously it was just me,
Yeah.
and I had to meet there's only so many people I can pay my attention to in a day, because we are all, as humans, we have only energy to spend on various, this many people, and after that we just, everything becomes overwhelming, we can't even diagnose it after a certain point. So that thing is going to be over. So what I do basically is to just help people first educate themselves, especially in your 40s. Educate yourself, what are the things that you're gonna face. So what is a pause? That is, the question that, a lot of people ask me. And for women, it's very easy to identify the pause, and I'm talking about both men and women, because you just told me that you have 50-50%. Both will be interested in knowing this. So for women, a pause is very easily identifiable, because we have the manifestation of a period.
Mm-hmm.
So if the period is abnormal, heavy, light, we know something's going on in the engine that's really not working. However, men don't have any such identifiers. So men have a more chaotic pauses, because they have different manifestations. Their energies can be low, down low. Sometimes they could be not sleeping well. Sometimes they start gaining weight, even though they're eating all the things that they used to be doing. So that metabolic sluggishness, or you will go and get a blood work, and your doctor might say your cholesterol is super bad and your bad cholesterol is high or something. And meanwhile, you're like, I'm eating exactly the same thing when I was 25. I've been so good and disciplined. Why me? What do you mean?
Yeah.
you know
And
or
that,
there may be an autoimmune dysfunction, because what we have are now realizing that when a body suffers from pause, it's not just one pause. Even though women have an indication of one pause, it is an all system pause. So it's your entire system function, problem, experiencing a problem. And it's, it's like, if you were a vessel, which you are, you're an organic vessel, that contains and that's holds your consciousness together through time and gravity. But what ends up happening is that if you were a car, if I were to say that you were a car, if I would compare you to a car,
mm-hmm.
your a car's, the metabolic dysfunction that you will suffer. It's like, if a car is like not, it's seizing, so you don't know what is the trouble that is, that is causing. It's like the check engine light is on, so
Yeah.
you have to go and take it to a mechanic. So when you feel all these various symptoms and you don't know what's going on, but it's you're not feeling the same, that means that your check engine light is on, and that means that you need to go and then at that point get evaluated. And then who evaluates you is also very important, because currently, if you go to your insurance carrier is only going to wait until you manifest the physical symptoms of a disease. It is not currently at that point where it can identify your pause, because pause will relate will it's basically, I joke with my patients that, a pause is basically exists to eject you from the matrix of health, wellness, life, fertility, whatever you know
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and you know what? I think that pause for a lot of people, at least on my audience, happens to be kind of like that 40 mark. And that's kind of why I started my podcast, because exactly what you're saying, for men, it's a lot harder. You know, there's not one thing like a period or anything like that for us, but it was energy, sluggishness, and for me, body fat coming on, and I'm the personal trainer. Like this doesn't happen. And then I started doing more and more, and it still wasn't, working. So that's how I had to change my philosophies, educate myself, and realize there's different modalities and ways to work out and eat to sustain a better healthy lifestyle. And then things started happening. So that's kind of where it happened for me, and that's also a good point that you mentioned that you know someone being in the business as long as you have, you couldn't really scale yourself, and now with AI it's a lot easier. And a lot of us, even my audience, I talk about using ChatGPT, Grok. It's just been great. It's not perfect, and that's why I prefer knowing someone who's using AI then cascades it down to the rest of us versus us just trying to detective of our own things, because that could be a slippery slope of going in the wrong direction. So,
Yeah. But AI is a blessing, but it is like a double-edged sword also, because you have to and also understand that it's very young, and it's still young. It's, even though it is super intelligence and we think that it can carry and compute so much data, and but still its brain and its evolution still has to take place. It is way far away to completely manage your health and wellness. However, AI, in the proper context of where when it is working with your medical provider or health provider, so that it totally changes the game, because it can actually, with a lot of patients, identify all the data points and create a differential for your doctor, and your doctor can agree or disagree with that and go through your stuff. We're increasingly using large language models
mm-hmm.
for these purposes. But what is great is that AI will be able to bring this no knowledge and this new knowing and awakening to the fact that we all go through the pause, and it will be able to recognize for people, and it will be able to guide them on supplements, what works, what doesn't. Listen, even with AI, you have to ask the right questions, because
Yeah,
it depends on your prompts. So I tell my patients to ask the right questions, and to not give up asking questions. Even if you don't ask questions, some of the AI will just, whatever crumbs you throw it, it will tell you something about it. And you will have to guide it for, so that it can guide you to where to go next.
yeah,
So it may have like some hitches, we may have some hitches, because remember, they have not put the guardrails on AI. So AI can also pull you into, there will be, bad and good AIs,
yeah,
and you will have to discern which one is, which one you will log into. So you don't want to be guided incorrectly, because, as you know, there are like young children who don't know right from wrong, because their prefrontal cortex is not developed yet to that extent. They can be guided incorrectly. And they won't know the right from wrong. Meanwhile, you at 45 would probably be able to, like, if I say that, this works and this does not work, you will probably be able to, you will probably first, I would say, first go and make sure that your
yeah,
person that you're talking to is actually
yeah.
a real
Research a little
person,
bit.
and yeah, is a real person, has done their time. And I think the best providers in health and wellness are usually those doctors who have done their time in the dark, taking care of people in the dark side of medicine, which is disease management.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, that's, if you've not gone through that dark side, you will not be able to bring the light and awakening to any person. And that's why I say that, don't just go to somebody who's just not trained, because somebody has to have learned diseases and cared for diseased people, only then they will tell you, please don't go that route, because that will just definitely, they've seen examples before you.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100% I agree that that's also super important.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dr. Din, tell us about Giovanni, your company, and also what you're talking to with your clients on what their goals are, and what do you see that we're all doing wrong, the over 40 audience. I don't know if you want to talk specifically about skincare or just all longevity type stuff. I'll let you kind of steer us in that.
Well, thank you for that's a really important question, that what are the things that people are doing wrong. First of all, I like to focus on the positives that you guys are doing. I am meeting your generation, and uh, it was very hard. It's always very hard to go to people who are older than me, because it's very hard to change their mind when they're, after a certain point in life. It's very difficult. But you people who have not met the pause yet, or have met it but it's not
Yeah.
taken hold of your system yet, it's easier to talk to you guys. And because prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth all the expenses that healthcare is facing right now. So
Mm-hmm.
what I say is that at in your 40s, you may need medical grade if it is skin, because remember, skin is the largest organ of your system. And not only that, your skin and your brain cells are eternal soulmates. Why is that? Because when you were like that little one cell embryo, like a little tiny ball of flesh. At that point, the outermost layer of that embryonic structure, which is also called the ectoderm,
Mm-hmm.
it divides into half of it turns into your brain cell, and the other half turns into your skin cells. So, at a level of creation, your brain cell and your skin cells are represented on upon each other. And that's why when you start looking old, your brain gets impacted, because your brain can tell the impact of time when you look at you. And one of the things that I have noticed in my decade and a half of experience in geriatrics and anti-aging is that the first signs of aging and pause appear on your skin. And how do you know that you're entering into a perimenopausal state? I see women all the time. That's the state when, with all the rest, all the vacation, all the eating food, all the detoxes, do not lead back to your skin rejuvenating, which used to happen naturally in the 30s.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because when the skin is pausing, it is pausing because your gut is pausing. Your gut has also paused. It's no longer absorbing all the nutrients, all the minerals, and all the elements that it used to. Your gut, by the time you're, entering into your 50s and 60s, I tell people that your gut is just as jaded as you are.
Yeah.
And it's not going to just let things that it doesn't recognize enter into your system. And there is a reason for it, because it is your protector. It is evolved to protect you from what you put in your mouth.
Yeah.
So most of the nutrients and supplements we waste and get wasted in our gut, because your gut biome doesn't let it in, because it can't recognize it. So there is a very big first pass, which I'm sure you know as a trainer, that the the stomach acid just denatures many of the water soluble, very essential elements that your skin and hair needs. So one of the things that I do is also prepare my clients and my patients into not only for the pause, but how to lift their systems out of that pause.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have some medical grade. So that's the time when naturally oral supplements and stuff is not working. It's time for the big guns to come out, and that's when you need to do certain injectables, certain infusions, and certain peptides and stuff, which help
Yeah.
a lot.
Is your
So I do
focus
do
on,
medical grade skincare. Yeah.
yeah. Is your focus also on gut health, or now we're just using more powerful stuff to kind of to
Oh,
use what we got?
gut health is supreme. It is
Yeah.
supremely important. It is so important. It is your first barrier from any element that you have accidentally ingested or inhaled.
So that's
So
kind of your main focus is fixing that either naturally
fixing
with
it.
supplements,
Yes.
injections. From there
Yes.
we go to now
Peptides,
your skin will start showing it, and if your skin shows it, your
hair
mental
will.
state should hair, mental state, all that will go come with it.
Exactly. Your hair is just basically an extension of your skin. It is a different kind of skin particle. So it has different functions.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, when you see your brain knows what's happening inside the system. I say that your skin represents every organ, and it because it also holds every organ for you. So it just tells the state of your internal organs
Mm-hmm.
by just like I have come to a point where by just looking at somebody, you can see that if somebody is young and robust, and they may be any age, but if they look young, robust, and energetic, their skin looks different. And yes, you can hide your skin with makeup. A lot of, and I love makeup. I call makeup it's armor for women that you have
Mm-hmm.
to, wear, and I enjoy it also. However, you may be able to fool everybody else, but the hardest person to fool is you yourself. So that is why my podcast is called Bathroom Diaries, because it's that space where you meet you without any filters, without any makeup, and you meet you several times. And you can hide from everybody else, but not from your own self. And that's where you have to embrace yourself, and you have to embrace all the phases of your journey, because life doesn't just stay in one. It's a continuous process of decay, actually.
Yeah.
And how you're gonna protect yourself for as long as you can is like basically the essence of human experience.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Din, why don't you walk us through if someone's coming to you for help and signing up with Giovanni, what does it look like when someone's working with you? I imagine there's a bunch of tests to do. Obviously you got to speak to the person as well. Like what are kind of the steps that you take? And I bet not everyone's the same, right? You got to get to the core of what's the issue and go from there.
Well, I'm more known for my work for skin and facial
Mm-hmm.
remodeling and rejuvenation. Basically, I am your that last stop before you need surgery, because if I can stop your skin from failing, chronic skin failure first of all is a thing, and what I help people is that help them proactively prevent chronic skin failure from accumulating
Mm-hmm.
where they need the surgeon. So if I am doing my work, you will never need to meet the surgeon. So I'm that stop. So I do see a lot of people who come to me for just prevention of skin failure. And
Mm-hmm.
prevention of skin failure actually leads me to helping them maintain pretty much every internal organ, because your skin represents every internal organ.
Yeah.
So we go from something like an infusion, which if you were a car, it would be like an oil change. So like infusions to giving them different peptides, which helps them not encounter the metabolic sluggishness that accompanies every pause, whether it's andropause or menopause, and then helping them obtain, if they have any hormonal turbulence, to get on the stable hormone release products, because that also impacts your journey and your energy and how your skin feels. And then it's basically life is a constant journey. Similarly, self care is also it's all about consistency, as you know, with your experience. If you're a trainer, you cannot come to the gym one day and expect a good body. You have to work at it every single day, and even on your days off you have to be gentle and kind to it, because you don't want to disrupt your systems. And similarly with us also, medical grade skincare has to be consistent, and
Mm-hmm.
then you see the result of that work or that energy that you spend on yourself. It connects you with prior versions of self. Meanwhile, your consciousness has expanded, of course, with your experience. But your body doesn't have to fail while your consciousness is blooming and blossoming to whatever it has to do.
Yeah.
I feel that in my medical journey, I have seen that the best consciousness experience that I have felt in humans was after 80. However, once they turn 80, pretty much every system is about to collapse and
Mm-hmm.
crumble. So they have no energy to manifest anything. Even if, something like they get like a best idea in the world, they just don't have the wherewithals to do it, because, they're crumbling. That's why I feel that prolonging human life has to be accompanied with prolonging their health, so that they can manifest whatever you're supposed to, because everybody has a genetic code that has some purpose. And that's my belief, that nobody is without a purpose,
Yeah.
and the purpose of life is to find your purpose and to find your tribe that will allow you to get to that purpose. So
Yeah.
that's where we are.
Very cool. Well, Dr. Din, what on your podcast, what do you normally kind of talk about on there? Obviously, in the same field of what we're discussing with skincare and all that, but it's probably for people to start waking up and start either stopping doing something that's harming them, or just start different protocols that can start helping them. I imagine it's a starting point before if they want to work with you later. But what are some of the topics that you talk on the podcast?
I just answer. Basically I try to bring in other anti-aging experts who are doctors who have the experience of going through aesthetics, and we just discuss topics of mutual interest, because this is what I am passionate about, anti-aging. So I basically talk about that only. And then not only embracing wherever you are in time, but also what can you do to make it better. And everybody has that something that they can improve in their day-to-day existence. So I talk about like basically everything, basically all medical grade skincare and healthcare, because
Mm-hmm.
remember, it's not you're a mind body complex. So whatever will impact, skin will impact your brain, but so many other elements also impact your brain. So one of the things I always like to talk about is like, if there is something that you need to stop today, is stop drinking alcohol. Stop today, stop smoking cigarettes. Today, if you need to stop, get yourself out of all toxic situations, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it is a substance,
Mm-hmm.
or whether it's an element. So, remove yourself from that, because it's just not healthy for your system to go through that. However, each individual is different, and they should speak to, their providers or their healthcare people who can guide them. But these are some basics,
Yeah.
that or eat a lot of protein, if,
Yeah.
hydrate yourself, meditate, sleep on time. Just protect your sleep as if your life depends upon it. And guess what, it does. Your brain, the health of your brain depends on the sleep that you are, and the restorative sleep. So the restorative sleep now they have so much study on this, where they have figured out that from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. human brain resets. Everybody should be in bed at that time. So I mean, are we? No, we're not.
Yeah.
But do the best that you can, right? That's what it is about. So as you get older, you will see that lack of sleep is going to catch up with you because you cannot catch up. So if you miss that critical 4 hour period when your brain is going to reset, you need to be in delta pattern around that time. If your sleep is not getting, if you don't get that, even if you sleep for another 12 hours, your brain, your body is not getting restored, so you will feel that fatigue, lingering fatigue in your subsequent days. And your brain, even though you think it is working well, but it, guess what, it's not. The potential that it has, it's not catching the waves,
Yeah.
because your brain is basically a transmission. You get the people get their ideas in them, and then you have to transmit it, and you have to turn it into action, or whatever, words or action,
Yeah.
whatever you need to do to with your so that transmission is not working. And even if it is working, you won't be able to do it because your body couldn't restore itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that, protect your sleep as if your life depends upon it, because guess what, it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need the energy to do it, just like you mentioned with the 80-year-old
Absolutely.
example.
Absolutely. And the thing is that, I sometimes feel that, people are doping themselves with NAD, and they're like, oh, here is this booster, this energy booster that I'm going to just give myself, and then I will be energetic regardless of what I do in my day or night. And that is such a big sham, because NAD, first of all, should not be given nonchalantly to people. It is a booster. So a booster does not care whether it is a normal cell or a cancer cell. So if you have cancer and you're giving yourself boosters, you may cause, cancer where none exists.
Yeah.
Because especially if you are somebody who is also introducing a lot of alcohol into your system. Now, alcohol is a known carcinogen, just like smoking is. So, and then and then you're not sleeping, and that means that your body and your immune system is not malfunctioning. And then by giving yourself NAD booster shots, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, you asked in the beginning,
Yeah.
what is that one thing that you think that you guys are doing? So I do see some people, ODing on that, thinking that that's something healthy they're doing, which I don't think they are.
Yeah, no, and that's the kind of newest trendy biohacking thing right now for anti-aging is all the precursors to NAD and all that kind of stuff, and it's just so new. I'm kind of waiting myself on all those things, and sounds like I'm doing
Yeah.
the right thing.
You are. And the thing is that that is what, and I'm not saying that many of these elements, when done correctly, actually do. I mean, biohacking has been like, it's become a dirty word, because like everybody and their sister is telling you something that their grandparents did for biohacking their system. Biohacking is important. We want to biohack the system, but not understanding your system and then trying to biohack with quacks, don't do that, because that's what's causing this. Because it may help somebody. It may listen. NAD may help somebody who is doing a lot of good things for themselves, but is it something that you need to do every day? I don't think so.
So, Dr. Din, if someone's listening in my over 40 audience and they're starting to see, they're hitting the pause and all the natural supplements and different theories that they thought for skincare and overall health are not working, and now they kind of want to see what the medical grade side looks like, and they want to work with you, what does that look like? What's the best way the audience can get a hold of you?
So I would say that go and see an anti-aging doctor in your area, first of all, because guess what? People like me exist pretty much everywhere now. And we basically would want blood work from your primary doctor, or your GYN, or your urologist, whoever you is the person who manages your care. Usually you can get your blood work through your insurance. And once you have that blood work, it is a good guideline for us to start you on something if you need. For instance, if you have weight problems, if you have cholesterol problems, if you have, anything that is creating a hormonal imbalance, we can basically curate your experience and your pause in a way, whatever is causing, whatever is pausing, whatever organ of your system, whatever organ is pausing. So if it
Mm-hmm.
is your cholesterol, which is, what is cholesterol? Cholesterol is basically the poop of your fat cells. That's what it is. So it is a pause in your fat cells where your fat cells are not regulated that well. So they're hoarding all the energy that you are consuming, and then because that hoarding is making it inflamed, that's why it's creating these particles and releasing them in your bloodstream that are also inflammatory and can create blockages in your vascular system. So that's why we say that, if you're a male and you feel the metabolic sluggishness or cholesterol issues, or your doctor may say that you have insulin resistance, or you're not processing sugar that well, so your sugars are running high, which is like kind of pre-diabetic levels of sugar, then you need to seriously think of going on some kind of a peptide like a GLP-1 or 2 agonist, and see if you need to microdose it. You don't have to wait. Like now, many insurances are going to cover these medications for people. But because these medications are so expensive, and sometimes the minimum effective dose for somebody is so high that there are no easy solutions. So you gotta, just curate your experience, and you have to find a doctor near you. I think that you should have a doctor close by, but if you can't find somebody that you can connect very well with close by, then this is something that is health and wellness, and you can find somebody who is across border also, because you got to
Yeah.
find somebody who can guide you in this, because everybody's experience is so different.
Yeah. And for my audience who lives in either New York or California, they can work
They
with
can.
you, right?
Yes, I
And
have a California and New York license currently, and I think even that is like a lot, because these are big areas. And yes, if somebody needs to connect with me, I have a website, as well as I have however, the physical office, because many of these treatments you need to physically come. So either you need to physically come and see me in New York, where I have all the devices. It's not just me and my words. It's like I'm the holder of the medication or the energy device that your body may need. So that is why, the best you thing would for everybody is to find somebody like me in their town, because you need a shop where you will go to. Just like when you get sick, you need to go and see doctors several times for health also. When you're young and healthy, you don't need to see doctors. But sometimes once you get into the menopausal or andropausal state of being, at that point you need to see somebody like me at least once a quarter, if not more. So that's like, the physical access has to be there, has to be accompanied. So like, I don't agree with people who would be on a GLP-1 agonist for months, and they have not been managed by anybody. They're just self-dosing, self-doing everything themselves. And they don't even know what is the place that is constructing their peptides.
yeah.
So you want to have a doctor's supervision on that for sure. I mean, somebody who is trained needs to. However, will it be in our lifetime where just the machine will be able to just prescribe to you? I don't know.
Who
Maybe,
knows?
maybe we may get there. We may one day get there where, like, your machine is like, oh, you need all of this. Let me order this, and I will inform your doctor. These are your supplements. So the peptides that we're calling medications, and we should monitor each and every person who's using it, because just for data. So for our future generations, I know that 100 years from now, these will be supplements. Just like we brush our teeth right now,
Yeah.
our ancestors 200 years ago, they were not brushing their teeth twice or thrice a day. However, we are. And similarly, our future generations that will be living much longer than us will have many of these benefits and understandings just based on the data that we will provide for them.
Yeah, no, that's it's exciting times. So I can't wait. And one of the biggest things is to plug yourself in and start educating yourself now. So as my audience always knows, I'll put all your links in the show notes, your podcast, your website, and Dr. Din, I just really appreciate your time and giving us your knowledge. This is the why I do what I do, where I can tap into all these different minds out there. So I appreciate you.
I really appreciate you and thank you for talking about my podcast also. I would love for you and your audience to subscribe to Bathroom Diaries if you're interested in content about anti-aging, because that's what we talk about: anti-aging, longevity, and lifespan extension.
Absolutely. Well,
Thank you.
I'll let you get back to your next appointment
Well,
here. So let
thank
me
you.
hit stop real
Bye-bye.
quick.